Hello! So in this video, I'm going to give you a walkthrough of everything that you can expect to get once you purchase Podcast Prodigy. So once you purchase, you're going to get immediate access into this page. And so it's going to just say congratulations. There's going to be a welcome video that shows you exactly how you can go through the content. And then there's going to be a few sections that you can go through. So the way that I like to design courses is make them broken down so that you can easily find whatever you need without having to go through super long videos and just, point and click to exactly what you need. And I broke it down in a way where you can get to exactly where you need to go whenever you're ready for it. So we have the welcome page, which is just, how to go through the course and then why podcasting. And then we go over to step one. Now, step one is going to help you set the stage for a really successful podcast. So the first thing that we cover is how to figure out what your end goal of podcasting is. So are you wanting to podcast so that you can sell more books, have coaching clients, are you wanting to sell products, whatever it is, we want to make sure that we set you up for success. So that's the first thing that we go over, how to do that, how to find your audience, how to create your customer avatar. Next, we figure out how to pick your general podcast topic, so what would be best for you and your audience for you to podcast about, and then how to identify the best format for your podcast. So you can decide if you want to do an interview-based podcast, or if you want to give your own content, or maybe a little bit of both. So we go through those questions. And then I give you a resource of all the different questions that you can ask yourself in order to set the stage for as much success as possible, because I really want you to lay an awesome foundation here so that you're set for a while. You don't have to go make any changes or anything later on because you're doing all the groundwork now. And my questions are easy to answer and just make it really simple for you to get started successfully. Next, in step two, we talk about how to create your content. So the first thing we talk about is how you know what to talk about. So we go over different ways that you can make podcast content, places you can look for content inspiration, how to create a list of topics right now, because right now when you get started with podcasting, you're going to be really excited about everything. And I mean, let's face it, once you're doing something for a while, you're not as excited as you were in the very beginning. So I want you to maximize all your excitement, come up with a list of ideas of things that you can create topics about. I'll show you exactly how to do it so that you're never facing a blank screen and you always know what else you can podcast about. Now you'll also notice here that under each video, I tell you exactly how long each video is and then what you can expect from that video. So it's very easy for you to go back later on and just find exactly what you're looking for. We have a checklist here on different things that you can, ways you can figure out what to talk about, because I want this to be as simple as possible for you. Then we go over how to deliver the content that you're teaching. So you learn how to prepare for podcasts you're about to record, how to make it easy on yourself, how to get content inspiration. Then we go through how to reach out and request interviews. So if you're like many people, it can feel a little bit out of your comfort zone to request interviews from people that maybe have bigger audiences or kind of like your heroes, right? So I give you an actual template that you can use on how to reach out to people. This is something that I've used myself. It works really well. So this way you can just copy and paste it and just hit send, so you don't have to obsess about saying the right things. And I really just want to make this as easy as possible for you. You also get my thank you for signing up template. So once people book with you, book their podcast, there's a template that you can use to get them all the logistics and make sure that you don't have to send a million emails back and forth. Then I teach you how to prepare for interviews. So there's things that you want to do before you have the interviews to make sure that your interviews go off as well as possible. So I also give you a cheat sheet on things to remember to do before every single interview that you do. And when you follow that cheat sheet, you're going to go into your interviews with so much confidence. Next, we go over how you can hold the interviews. So if you're beginning holding the interviews, I don't want it to feel awkward for you. So I tell you exactly how you can establish rapport with your guests, how you can get going in a way that feels comfortable. I even give you the hello script that I use whenever I am hosting podcasts. So exactly what I say to guests to immediately make them feel comfortable and get going. So you get that, you get to understand how I record interviews. Now, actually, for me, I just use my Mac microphone whenever I'm recording interviews, and you don't need to buy any fancy equipment. A lot of PCs now have phenomenal microphones too, so I would first podcast, get the proof of concept going, and then if you want to invest more money later, awesome. But for now, most microphones are phenomenal. Next, we go over to step 3, which is how to edit and upload your podcasts. So first, I'll just go over some ways you can edit your podcasts. I give you the name of my personal podcast editor if you want to hire somebody. I give you free resources if you'd rather do that. Then we go over to what you're going to need the first time you upload a podcast, how you can upload podcasts later, and I make it as easy as possible because believe me, I am horrific with technology. So if I can do it, I promise that you can do it too. I tell you everything that you can do, where you can submit your podcasts. So the first time that you submit your podcast, you're just going to submit it to iTunes and Stitcher, and you'll generally get approval back within a few days. It's a free process. It's really simple. You just answer a couple questions, and then you get your approval. So I explain how to do all of that. And then you learn about my absolute favorite podcasting tool, which is just outstanding, especially if you're starting out with podcasting. I can't recommend it enough. So then we move over to step 4, which is how to post your podcasts. So this is a shorter one, and we just go over how you can post your episodes. So every single time you have a new podcast, you're going to want to publish it on your blog or on some kind of page, and there's going to be certain things that you want to make sure that you incorporate every time you post your podcast. So I made you a video about how to do that, and then also gave you the template that I use every single time I post a podcast, and you can just copy and paste it because really I just want this to be as simple as possible for you. Now, this one's shorter and it makes way for the big section, which is marketing. So I'm going to give you everything that I know about how to get 1,500 to 4,000 downloads per podcast episode. So the first thing we go over is how to get on New and Noteworthy. Now, if you can get New and Noteworthy, that's where iTunes will feature you in front of hundreds of thousands of podcast listeners. So I teach you how I was able to do that, how other people were able to do it, and how you can leverage New and Noteworthy for yourself. So we go over that. Also go over some other ways that you can market. So what to say to interviewees. Once your podcast is live, we want to try to get your interviewees to spread the message for you. So how you can say that to them. We also go over how to succeed on Twitter. So different things you can do there, how you can get retweets from the people who you've interviewed. And the method that I use is pretty much 100% effective. At least it is for me. So it has a very high success rate, and just other ways you can get as much impact as possible. Then we go over how you can create compelling pictures for social media. So this is something that I messed up on big time when I first started, and now thankfully you can learn from my mistake and just learn how to create pictures that will go viral on social media so people will share your podcast for you. And this part is probably my favorite part and easily worth the entire course price alone, which is my outsourcing and my outsourcing checklist. So this video here will explain every single thing that I have my assistant do every single time we release a new podcast episode. So I show you exactly where we submit it, exactly who we hire for. We use a guy on Fiverr to get it out even more. So I show you who I use on Fiverr, all the sites we publish to, all the just everything. And not only do you see the inside, our internal process, but we're also giving you that exact checklist. So this took me like months of trial and error to figure out where to submit to, where to get the most results, and you'll just be able to use that right away for yourself or hand it off to an outsourcer and do everything we're doing to get traffic. Then we also go over how to get reviews. So I teach you some great ways on things you can do to get more reviews for your podcast, which just makes your podcast look even more credible. Then a resource on 25 ways to get podcast reviews so you're totally hooked up and you know exactly what to do to get reviews. Then in the last section, I just teach you how to scale this up, right? So the first thing we go over is how to create content faster. So how you can start to make things in a quicker way, make it easier on yourself. So we'll go over that. We'll go over how to leverage your hard work and just maximize it as much as possible. I'm all about maximizing. So I show you how to transfer your content into new modalities. If you saw my proof video, you saw how I took that one podcast and converted it into 6.1 thousand likes for an article, got hundreds of subscribers, show you how to do that, how you can mention your podcast, how you can brag about it in other places and get some great opportunities. Go over how you can leverage your guests in a way that feels really great for both of you. So we go over the types of questions to ask your guest to make sure that you learn as much as possible, how to get those mentions on Twitter, and then how you can build relationships in a way that feels really good for everybody involved. And then also I show you how to get data from your podcasts. So the thing with podcasts is if you know how to look at them and use them right, you can get phenomenal data on new products to create, email subject lines, blog post lines, books to create. I mean, there's so much stuff that you can learn from podcasts. And so I teach you exactly how you can do that. And then in the last section, we just wrap up. Thank you very much for going through the course. And then I'll give you a quick tip on making sure your podcast is as successful as possible. So as you can see, there is a ton that we incorporate in here. And really, it's all about just making this as easy as possible for you, giving you everything you need in a no fluff way so that the whole podcasting just gets demystified for you. The course is an incredible investment because not only are you getting everything broken down for you, but you're going to learn just everything that you need to get in front of thousands of people. There are all kinds of people who are doing this that have had no assets when they got started. So no lists, no relationships, nothing. And now they're doing really great with podcasting. So you're going to get that. You're going to get instant access to all of this. And the thing is, right now, as I said, the average downloads that I'm getting per episode are between 1,500 and 4,000. Even if you only get half of the people that I get on average, so 750 people per episode, and let's say you convert only 1% of those people, which you should do better, on a $10 product, which probably will be more, then you're going to get $75 back from your first episode. You're going to make multiple episodes, and then throughout time, people will go through your back catalog and you'll get more and more downloads, and your return on investment will pay for itself so quickly. And again, odds are you'll be talking about things that are more than $10. So I just feel like this is an excellent investment, both in terms of making your money back, in terms of getting more traffic, and in terms of not having to spend a ton of time trying to figure out how to do this yourself. So I'm looking forward to seeing you inside the members area.